Dear child, tonight feels heavier than you expected. You finished the day, but your thoughts did not finish with it. You smiled where you had to, answered what needed answering, and still came home with that same ache sitting quietly inside you. Beloved, you have been trying not to call it disappointment. You have been telling yourself to be patient, to be mature, to keep perspective. But under those steady words there has been a tired question. Why has it taken so long? Dear heart, you have watched other people step into what you prayed for. You have seen doors open for them, seen announcements made, seen progress that looked so simple from the outside. And while you tried to be gracious, something in you whispered, "What about me?" Precious one, part of your pain is not only that you are still waiting, it is that the waiting has made you wonder whether you were overlooked, whether you misunderstood, whether you asked for too much. You have gone over old conversations. You have replayed decisions. You have looked at your own hands as if they were the reason nothing moved. And when the room became quiet, when there was no distraction left, you felt the fear underneath it all. Maybe I missed my moment. Maybe I am behind now. Maybe what was meant for me has already passed me by. My child, come closer to this truth. What feels late to you has not escaped my care. What seemed stalled was not abandoned. What looked empty was not meaningless. There are seasons when movement is obvious, and there are seasons when the deepest work is hidden. Loved one, you have been measuring this chapter by what has not arrived. I have been measuring it by what has been protected, what has been mended, what has quietly become stronger inside you. You wanted a quick answer. You wanted one clear sign, one open path, one settled outcome to calm your racing thoughts. That desire was human. That longing was tender. It was not wrong. But if I had handed you everything at the first moment you begged for it, you would have carried it with wounds that had not yet healed. Sweet soul, there were places in you still raw from old rejection. Places that smiled on the surface but flinched underneath. Places that wanted the blessing, but secretly believed they had to earn the right to keep it. You did not fully know how much fear was sitting beside your desire. You only knew that you were tired of hearing not yet from a life that already felt hard. So listen to me now. The slower season was not a punishment. It was not a cold shoulder. It was not proof that you were less loved. It was mercy working in ways you could not easily recognize. My dear one, some of what you asked for would have been placed on a version of you who was still bleeding from being hurried. You were trying to move forward while carrying the pressure to prove yourself. You were trying to begin again while still haunted by where you had been dismissed. You were trying to build something steady with a heart that had learned to expect sudden loss. So I did not rush you. I sat with you while your smile fell apart in private. I stayed near when your confidence sounded convincing to others but felt thin to you. I kept watch while you questioned your worth in the silence between one hope and the next. Beloved, I know how this season has felt. Long mornings, heavy afternoons, nights where your body was still but your mind kept pacing. I know the sting of seeing no evidence that anything was changing. I know how hard it has been to keep showing up when part of you felt foolish for still hoping. I know, and I have not turned away from any of it. There were things you called empty days that were actually repair. There were closed paths that spared you from agreements your soul would have regretted. There were postponed answers that kept you from tying your future to what only looked secure for a little while. Precious one, you could not see all the threads. You only saw one panel of a much larger weaving. You saw the unanswered message, the delayed opportunity, the plan that would not come together. I saw the exhaustion in your bones. I saw the unhealed pattern that would have followed you there. I saw the people, the timing, the hidden cost, the strain it would have placed on a heart already stretched thin. So the pause stayed. Not because I took pleasure in your uncertainty, not because your tears did not matter, not because your longing was too small for my notice. The slowness remained because love does not always hurry. Sometimes love steadies. Sometimes love intervenes quietly. Sometimes love keeps a hand on a door until the person reaching for it is strong enough to walk through whole. Dear child, you have called yourself behind. But behind whom? Behind what standard? Behind whose story? You were never meant to live by comparisons that do not know your history, your tenderness, your restoration, your becoming. The path of another person could not carry what your life has had to carry. So do not use their timing as a ruler against your own heart. Dear heart, your worth did not weaken because the answer took longer. Your beauty did not lessen because things moved slowly. Your life did not lose meaning because you spent months, or years, in places that looked unremarkable to people who only celebrate visible milestones. Much of what becomes lasting is formed without applause. The root grows in secret first, and what is rooted deeply is not easily taken by the first hard wind. Loved one, there is another truth I want you to hold gently. Part of this chapter was teaching you to want what is truly good for you, not merely what would quiet your anxiety fastest. There is a difference. An anxious heart often reaches for speed because speed feels like relief. But relief and peace are not always the same thing. Relief says, at least something happened. Peace says, what came was right, and I can rest in it. You were asking for movement. I was shaping discernment. You were begging for immediate change. I was growing steadiness so that when change arrived, you would not lose yourself inside it. Sweet soul, do you remember how easily panic used to guide you? How one uncertain outcome could make you question everything? How quickly you used to shrink after disappointment? How often you used to think that one closed door meant there was something deeply wrong with you? Look again, dear one. You are not who you were. The tears still come sometimes, yes. The fatigue still brushes against you, yes. But there is a quieter strength now living in you. You pause before spiraling. You notice what hurts instead of denying it. You speak with more honesty about what you need. You recover from setbacks with less self-contempt. That is not nothing. That is holy repair in ordinary clothes. Beloved, the chapter you wanted to skip has taught you how to stand without pretending. It has taught you how to carry uncertainty without handing your identity to it. It has taught you how to be gentle with the parts of yourself that once only received pressure. It has taught you that being unseen by others is not the same as being forgotten. And though you would not have chosen this length of waiting, you are not leaving it as the same person who entered. There is more. Some of what was being formed could only be formed in the quiet. When everything is happening fast, you can hide from yourself. You can stay busy enough to avoid the deeper ache. You can collect achievements like blankets, hoping they will warm the places inside that still feel unwanted. But in the hush, without the next answer arriving, your true thoughts rose to the surface. And though that was uncomfortable, it was necessary. My dear one, you discovered how much of your hope had become tangled with being chosen by others. You discovered how often your peace depended on visible progress. You discovered how harshly you spoke to yourself when life did not reward your effort quickly. This was not to shame you, it was to free you. Because once hidden things are brought into light, they no longer have to govern you from the shadows. Precious one, I am not asking you to pretend this season was easy. It was not. Some nights felt unbearably long. Some mornings felt flat, like your spirit had no color in it. There were moments when you answered people kindly, then sat alone later and wondered whether anyone understood how close you felt to giving up on expecting good things. You needed tenderness there, not lectures, not pressure, not someone telling you to simply be stronger. You needed a place where your disappointment could tell the truth without being scolded. So hear me clearly now. Your weariness did not offend me. Your questions did not push me away. Your uncertainty did not make me smaller. I have been patient with every fragile part of you. Loved one, there were also things you have not thanked yourself for. You kept going when the results were not immediate. You showed kindness while privately carrying grief. You resisted the urge to become bitter even when you were tempted. You learned to sit with what hurt instead of numbing every feeling. You got back up on days when getting dressed felt like enough of a battle. Do not dismiss that. The strength you wanted to see in dramatic ways was often there in quiet forms. It looked like restraint. It looked like honesty. It looked like resting instead of performing. It looked like not forcing a connection, a commitment, an opportunity, just because you were afraid of having nothing. Dear heart, that mattered. It still matters. The slow season did not only keep certain things from you, it kept certain things for you. It preserved your tenderness. It protected your future from hurried bargains. It gave your inner life room to become more truthful, more anchored, more able to recognize what actually fits you. A river does not become clear by being rushed. When the water is stirred too quickly, everything hidden in the bottom rises into the flow. Sometimes stillness is what allows the clouded parts to settle, so you can finally see what is truly there. My child, this is what has been happening. Not all at once, not dramatically, but surely. The noise has been settling. The false urgency has been loosening its grip. The belief that your life would only matter if something happened immediately has been losing its throne. And in that settling, clarity has been forming. You can feel it even if only faintly. You are less willing now to chase what costs you your peace. Less willing to call scraps a feast. Less willing to accept attention without care, opportunity without alignment, activity without life. That wisdom was born somewhere. It was born here. Beloved, do not despise the place that matured your seeing. I know you wanted a rival. And yes, there are things ahead that will feel like a rival. There are answers coming that will not need to be forced. There are steps opening that will not require you to betray yourself to take them. There are places where your gifts will not be treated like interruptions. There are relationships where your softness will not be handled roughly. There is work that will ask for your contribution without demanding your soul as payment. There is joy that will not feel like it must be defended every second. But even now, before all of that becomes visible, I want you to understand this. The meaning of your life has never been postponed until the next breakthrough. Your days are not empty just because they are ordinary. Your story is not paused just because one page has taken longer to turn. You are living now, becoming now, held now. Sweet soul, rest from the belief that you must decode every silence to stay safe. Not every unanswered thing is danger. Not every pause is a threat. Not every slower chapter means you are losing ground. Some things grow roots before they grow leaves. Some foundations are strengthened before the house rises into view. And some hearts are made ready before they are asked to carry what they once begged for. Dear one, I also want to lift the weight of self-blame from your shoulders. You have spent enough nights trying to discover which flaw caused the holdup. You have turned inward so sharply that even neutral moments became evidence against yourself. You have said, maybe I am too much. Maybe I am not enough. Maybe I ruined it somehow. Listen carefully. You are not the villain of every unanswered chapter. There are mysteries you do not control. There are intersections of timing, readiness, protection, and unseen movement that cannot be reduced to your failure. Yes, you are still growing. Yes, you are still learning. But growth is not disgrace, and learning is not rejection. Precious one, what if this chapter was never about proving whether you deserved something? What if it was about discovering that you are loved before the outcome changes? What if it was about becoming stable enough to know that a closed path cannot erase your value? What if it was about finding that your heart can be cared for, even in uncertainty? This is why the slow season had weight. It was not empty time, it was full time, full of hidden strengthening, full of gentle uncovering, full of honest grief making room for honest healing. Loved one, I do not ask you to celebrate every hard thing, but I do invite you to stop naming this chapter as wasted. It was costly, yes. Tender, yes. Sometimes lonely, yes. But wasted? No. Too much has been formed in you. Too much has been protected around you. Too much has been prepared ahead of you. And though I will not force you to feel gratitude before you are ready, I will sit with you until understanding softens the sting. You do not have to rush to make peace with it all tonight. You do not have to tie a neat bow around every ache. You do not have to suddenly become cheerful just because truth is arriving. Relief often enters quietly. It comes like unclenching, like setting down a bag you forgot you were still carrying, like realizing you do not have to keep fighting the same interpretation anymore. My dear one, you can release the story that says nothing was happening. Something was happening. You were being kept. You were being deepened. You were being prepared in ways that would have been impossible inside a faster answer. And now, even before every outer detail changes, your inner ground is steadier. That matters more than you know, because when the next door opens, you will not enter it with the same desperation. You will enter with clearer eyes, with better boundaries, with less hunger to make the opportunity prove your worth, with more room to notice what is healthy, what is mutual, what is clean, what is actually yours. Beloved, I have not been late. I have been deliberate. I have been careful with your heart. I have been attentive to what would bless you deeply, not merely quickly. And I remain attentive still. So tonight, set down the harsh measuring stick. Set down the comparison. Set down the old accusation that says your life is failing because it unfolded slowly. Come sit in gentler truth. You have been loved here, in the unsure place, in the quiet place, in the place where no clear answer came when you wanted one, and you are still being led even now. Dear heart, there will come a day when you look back and notice what you cannot fully see yet. You will recognize that some endings saved you, that some pauses healed you, that some disappointments unhooked you from smaller things, that some unanswered cries made room for truer yeses. And when that understanding comes, it will not erase all the tears you shed, but it will hold them differently. It will tell the story with tenderness, not contempt. It will say, "That was hard and still I was carried." Precious one, for now, that is enough. You do not need the whole map tonight. You only need the next softness, the next honest breath of relief, the next quiet moment where your body learns it does not have to brace so hard. I am near in that moment, near in the silence after the questions, near in the room when no one else knows how much effort it took for you to simply make it through the day, near in the fragile hope you are almost afraid to feel again. My child, rest here a little, not in resignation, in safety, not in defeat, in steadiness, not as one forgotten but as one deeply kept. The night does not need to explain everything before it becomes gentle. Let your thoughts grow quieter now. Let your heart loosen from the edge of striving. You do not have to force tomorrow to arrive tonight. What is meant for you has not lost your name. What is right for you does not need panic to bring it near. And while all that is still unfolding, I will be the calm beside you, the warmth that does not withdraw, the steady presence that remains here as your soul settles into rest. Amen. Beloved family, we are grateful to continue sharing God's Word with you. This work requires dedication, prayer, and consistency. If you feel led to support this ministry, the link is available in the description and in the comment box below. Thank you for being part of this journey.